folks, Sheep Shack here. Today we're going to be doing a review of the 1980 album by Steely Dan, Gaucho. Gaucho is their last album before their 20-year studio hiatus. And since I've actually got a lyric sheet today, we're going to be going through it instead of, doing an April Fool. Uh, Alright. So, Steely Dan, made up of two consistent members, Donald Fagen, Walter Becker. The rest of the guys are studio musicians, so they kind of like got a bunch of helping hands with the albums. This one's got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs on it. Side A has Babylon Sisters, Hey 19, Glam Professional. Side B had Gaucho, Time Out of Mind, My Rival, and Third World Man. So I'll go ahead and start breaking them down. So first song, Babylon Sisters. Drive west on Sunset to the sea. So my interpretation of it is that the Babylon Sisters that are shaking it are actually prostitutes being hired by the narrator. My main basis on this is that the song is, I'll read it out to you honestly. Drive west on Sunset to the sea, turn the jungle music down just until we're out of town. This is no one night stand, it's a real occasion. Close your eyes and you'll be there. It's everything they say, the end of a perfect day, distant lights from across the bay. So, one night stands, for all the younger people in my audience, is where two people will have intercourse just for one day and then never talk to each other again. Yeah, so that's kind of my basis for thinking this song is about prostitution. I'll go ahead and start the rest of it. The chorus is Babylon Sisters Shake It, Babylon Sisters Shake It, so fine, so young, tell me I'm the only one. And then Here Come Those Santa Ana Winds Again. And then the next line is We'll jog with show folk on the sand, drink Quassager. It's an alcohol, I'm 100% sure of it. Drink Quassager from a shell. San Francisco show and tell. So it takes place in San Francisco, California. Okay. Alright. So that's the first song. It's got drums, you got Bernard Purtle. Bass, you got Chuck Rainey. Electric piano / clavinet, you got Don Groinick. Guitar, you have Steve Kahn. Percussion, Crusher Bennett. Trumpet / flugelhorn is Randy Brecker. Tenor, alto, and clarinet being played by Tom Scott. Bass clarinet by George Marge and Walter Kane. And the backup vocals is a bunch of women. And the horns were arranged by Rob Mounsey. So, while we've got the first song down, why not take a look at the cover? So, the cover of this album is a wonderful painting. I have no idea the context of it, but it looks like just two people dancing. It's very fancy. I love it. I'm so glad that I get to have this. And then the back, you just have more of that blue, a picture of, I really don't know what, and then the songs. Yeah. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, so the second song is going to be Hey 19.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
And my interpretation of this song is that it is about an older person and a younger person. Same stuff as the last time. I'll go and get into it. Way back when, in 67, I was the dandy of Gamashi. Sweet things from Boston, so young and willing. Moved down to Scarsdale, and where the hell am I? More that classic Steely Dan lyricism. It's kind of what they're known for. They basically say things. It's kind of like weird poetry. They say things, and you either get it or you don't. You usually don't, because understanding what they're talking about is kind of, it's up to interpretation, is why I'm saying that's what my interpretation is. Fun fact. Hotel California by the Eagles? Yeah. Apparently, they were heavily inspired by the lyricism of Steely Dan, which is why all the lyrics in that don't make any sense. Alright, I'll continue. Hey 19. The chorus is Hey 19. No, we can't dance together. No, we can't talk at all. Please take me along when you slide on down. Hey 19. That's Aretha Franklin. She don't remember the Queen of Soul. It's hard times befallen the soul survivors. She thinks I'm crazy, but I'm just growing old. So that song, that part means that the 19-year-old of the time, so 19-year-old in 1980, if that's when the song is taking place, does not know who Aretha Franklin is, which is really, tragedy because Aretha Franklin is wonderful. She has lots of songs that I've heard on the radio, way more than, I'd care to, but they're all good, so I don't mind. Alright, next one. Hey 19, we got nothing in common. We can't talk at all. Please take me along when you slide on down. The Cuervo Gold, the fine Colombian, make night a wonderful thing. We can't dance together. We know we can't talk at all. And one thing I want to talk about is the percussion on that one has Steve Gadd, who is a legendary session musician. And if you don't know what a session musician is, basically, whenever you create an album that isn't, independent, you go with a studio. And if you need certain musicians to play things that your band doesn't know, which Steely Dan, only two guys, they can't play every instrument. Uh, Basically, the studio will send musicians over. You can request certain ones. And Steve Gadd is just a legendary drum, percussionist in general. He's played on, countless albums. I'm sure if you pull out one of your vinyls, flip it over, if it's something jazzy, he's probably played on it. He's legendary. All right, so the next song on this one is Glamour Profession. Glamour Profession is maybe my favorite. It's between that and I like My Rival. My Rival, for some reason, kind of causes me to tear up sometimes because it talks about somebody with hearing aids, and I had a good friend with hearing aids. It's kind of odd, but shabamo. Alright, Glamour Profession. Alright, Glamour Profession. It's 6:05 outside the stadium. Special delivery for Hoops McCann. Brought in charisma. Poured from the shadow where he stood, looking good. He's a crowd-pleasing man. One-on-one, he's Schoolyard Superman. Chasing the backward, he's Jungle Jim again. When it's all over, we'll make some calls for my car. We're a star. It's a glamour profession, the LA concession. Local boys will spend a quarter just to shine the silver bowl. Living hard will take its toll. Illegal fun under the sun. All aboard the Cannibal, off to Barbados just for the ride. Jack with his radar, stalking the dread Morel eel. So that was Glamour Profession. I think it's about drugs or something. Next song is Gaucho or Gaucho. Depends on what side of the border you're on. I call it Gaucho because that's the way I was taught to say it. Gaucho is about a relationship between two people, with one of the people being seen as sort of like maybe an outcast. My interpretation of it is that it's this like ethnic family from a certain area because they speak as Spanish, so maybe Mexico, maybe Spain, and then you have this character that is dating, I'm assuming, a daughter or son or something of that family, and they are sort of an outcast, and the family doesn't want them to be with their daughter. It's probably something different than that, but I'm kind of soft brained right now, so that's my interpretation at the moment off the top of my head. So just when I say, boy, you can't miss, you are golden, then you do this. You saw this guy so cool. You say this guy is so cool, snapping his fingers like a fool. One more expensive kiss off. Who do you think I am? Lord, I know you're a special friend, but you don't seem to understand. We've got heavy rollers. I thought that said rumors. I thought that said rumors. I think you should know. Try again tomorrow. Can't you see they're laughing at me? Get rid of them. Don't care what you do at home. Would you care to explain? Who is this Gaucho amigo? Why is he standing in your spangled leather poncho and your elevator shoes? Bodacious cowboy, such as your friend, will never be welcome here. High in the cluster dome. And then there's another lyric, more of that lyricism. I think that one's more kind of cut and dry. I mean, you don't understand the exact circumstances of it, but you kind of get the vibe of it. This guy's an outsider. He's not welcome in their family. The daughter likes him, but the family doesn't. Family wants nothing to do with him, but the daughter likes him. The daughter's conflicted because the family likes him, but he. Alrighty, time out of mind. Uh, I saw a really good theory on this one that I liked. It was that it was based on a D&D thing, and I was like, I like D&D. I wasn't invited to parties in high school. I immediately snapped to that one. I was like, that's the right theory. I like that one. I'm gonna adopt it. That's my new religion. Alright, I'll go ahead and read out the things on it. Son, you better be ready for love on this glory day. This is your chance to believe what I've got to say. Keep your eyes on the sky. Put $1 in the kitty. Don't the moon look pretty? Tonight when I chase the dragon, the water will change to cherry wine. The silver will turn to gold. Time out of mind. I'm holding the mystical stone. It's direct from Laza. It's Lhasa. Laza. Where people are rolling in the snow from far from the world we know. Children, we have it right here. It's a light in my eyes. It's perfection and grace. It's a smile on my face. Tonight, when I chase the dragon, the water will change to cherry wine. The silver will turn to gold. Time out of mind. Children, we have it right here. It's a light in my eyes. It's perfection and grace. It's a smile on my face. Tonight, when I chase the dragon, the water returns to cherry wine. The silver will turn to gold. Time out of mind. I like their more rhythmic songs. I feel like some of them I can read like a rhythmic poetry, like I'm on a stage doing slam poetry. Some of them they kind of enunciate it in a way where it rhymes if you know the way they enunciate it, but they don't spell it the way they enunciate it. So you can't really read it like that unless you hear it and have it in your head when you're reading it. All right, the next one is My Rival. I remember this one having like a general Western vibe, and anytime I hear it, I think of a prickly pear, like red prickly pear, and it gives me a very nice warm feeling in my brain. Uh, Whenever I hear this, my immediate connotation is cold fruit, like I'm biting into like a prickly pear, basically. It kind of leaves that sensation in my entire like my mouth, my brain, my ears. I really like this one. I really dig it, and yeah, I like it. So I'll go and get to the lyrics. The wind was driving in my face, the smell of prickly pear. My rival, show me my rival. The milk truck erased into my space, eased into my space. Somebody screamed somewhere. I struck a match against the door of Anthony's Bar and Grill. I was the whining stranger, full in love with time to kill. I've got detectives on his case. They filmed the whole charade. My rival, show me my rival. He's got a scarf across his face. He wears a hearing aid. Sure, he's a Jolly Roger until he answers for his crime. Yes, I'll match him whim for whim now. I still recall when I first held your tiny hand in mine. My rival, show me my rival. I loved you more than I can tell, but now it's stomping time. Sure, he's a Jolly Roger until he answers for his crime. Yes, I'll match him whim for whim now. Okay. I feel like with the lyrics, they say them more than they do on here, or they say them longer. Because I feel like I read that decently quick, but I don't feel like they said it any less quick whenever I heard it in the song. Yeah, instrumental breaks do certainly add to the time. That and he does speak a little bit different because he's from I want to say New York. Donald Fagen. He's the one who mainly sings on these. Walter Becker doesn't have much of a singing voice, but he does. I like his music. Like one of my favorite, probably my favorite album of all time is his 11 Tracks of Whack. If you ever put it out on vinyl, I'd have it in my collection. I'm a big I've been at Steely Dan has been my favorite band, going 3 years strong now. I think they're wonderful. They've really introduced me to the world of jazz in general. Like, without, Gaucho, Asia, Pretzel Logic, I probably wouldn't have ever gotten into, Duke Ellington, Thelonious Monk, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis, all of them. So yeah, last song on the album, Third World Man. Some people say Third World Man really feels like it doesn't fit into the album, but I don't see. I really like Third World Man. I feel like the album could definitely end at My Rival, and it wouldn't feel incomplete. But Third World Man is a welcome addition to the album. All right, Third World Man. It is about a man who went to war and then comes back, but he's still sort of mentally there and still. So it's kind of like a PTSD type story. It's got some fantastic instrumentation by Steve Gadd, Chuck Rainey, Joe Sample, Steve Kahn, Larry Carradine, and the synthesizer by Rob Mounsey. So let's get into it. Johnny's playroom is a bunker filled with sand. He's become a third world man. Smoky Sunday. He's been mobilized since dawn. Now he's crouching on the lawn. He's a third world man. Soon you'll throw down your disguise. We'll see behind those bright eyes. By and by, when the sidewalks are safe for the little guy. I saw the fireworks. I believed that I was dreaming till the neighbors came out screaming. He's a third world man. Soon you'll throw down your disguise. We'll see behind those bright eyes. By and by, when the sidewalks are safe for the little guy. When he's crying out, I just sing that Ghana Rondo. El Era del Terza Mondo. He's a third world man. And that is the last song on the album. Alright, music and lyrics by Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. Lead vocals by Donald Fagen. Rhythm arrangement by Steely Dan with Bob Mounsey, Dan Groenick, and Paul Griffin. Yeah. And then it lists all of these session musicians with something I really like. I wish more albums would do that. So yeah, I definitely recommend giving this album a listen. I've purposely avoided talking about the actual instrumentation of each song itself. I'm just sort of giving you an idea of what type of lyricism they give in the Steely Dan songs. But definitely give this album a listen. It's fantastic. Honestly, I think all their albums are pretty fantastic. It's just this one, Asia, and then maybe, I'd say Everything Must Go are different definite highlights for me personally when it comes to Steely Dan as a fan who's been a fan for the past 3 years. Alright, that's the end of the video. See you folks next time. Ciao.
Hey, hey. Stupid ass jokes. I think this is the best thing I've thought of in a while. It's Hey 19, why don't I just go, hey, hey, what's he doing? It's a 19? I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. That's the best joke I've ever thought of. That's the most original thing I'm ever gonna say in my life. Hey 19, hey.